G'day mates, and welcome back to Emperor. Today we're going to be heading into the final dynasty here, the Song dynasties. Again, looks like a couple of shorter ones tacked together. Now, let's have a quick look here. 50 years, China has been in disarray, with no kingdom or leader strong enough to earn the mandate of heaven and restore the glory of the shattered Tang dynasty. Are you up to the task of reuniting China and founding the Song dynasty? If so, a period of great advances in art, literature, and higher learning await. However, even a golden age such as this will pass eventually, for dark storm clouds continue to arise from the northern steppes. How long can these marauding riders be kept at bay? Okay, looks like, was that Genghis or something? Something's going to be happening. Let's head on in and see how we go.
53 winters have fallen on China since the end of the Tang Dynasty. 53 black winters, each marking the conclusion of yet another year of fighting and chaos. In this time, northern China has seen 5 dynasties come and go, each being overthrown by yet another military usurper. The south is likewise fragmented, divided into 10 regional kingdoms. It seems the mandate of heaven has been lost for all time. Can the glory of China ever be restored? And so, Zhao Kuangyin, the fate of China has been placed in your hands. Last night, your fellow officers stormed into your tent, hauled you from bed, and placed the imperial yellow robe of Chinese royalty on your back. Now they march on the capital with you. Once in Kaifeng, you will assume power from the newly installed boy emperor. He is weak and dominated by his mother, not a fit ruler in these troubled times. Establish a strong base at Kaifeng and keep it well guarded at all times. We have too many enemies to risk losing everything. We have 2 outposts on the borders of enemy territory. Each will provide critical aid in the difficult months ahead. At Pingyao to the north, General Pan Mei is establishing a mining outpost where stone and steel can be harvested from the earth to fuel your armies. Along the Yangtze, your aid comes from newly appointed Governor Fan Ruoshui at Qizhao. Our southern Tang enemies hide behind the river, foolishly thinking it protects them from the north. But Fan Ruoshui has tested that river many times. He is preparing a fleet of more than 1,000 dragon boats. If we string them together with bamboo, our armies can cross the mighty river on foot over our floating walkway. And it is thus, Zhao Kuangyin, that you will strive to reunite China. Conquer our enemies one by one, never letting them unite against us. The Jingnan at Jiangling, the Hunan at Tanzhao, the Shu at Chengdu, the southern Han at Guangzhou, and the southern Tang at Yuzhang. Once 4 of these enemies are defeated, the 5th will fall in line. Only then will China finally see the awakening of a glorious spring.
Okay, then looks like we are finally Emperor. We've been administrators for a long time, but this time it looks like we are Zhao Kuangyin. So we are the Emperor finally, or we're Emperor in name only. At the moment, we control 1 city and a couple of mining outposts, which sound like they're going to be our trading partners for here. The rest of us are going to be a very heavy military mission. We can build whatever city we want, as long as we conquer 4 other ones and use our heroes to do that. Let's dive on into the city and have a look at what we have available. So I've paused time as usual. Have a quick look. There are a couple of basic fortifications set up here. That's tiny. I don't think I'll use that for much. I may even put my farms in there. I don't know what I can fit in there. I can't really expand it as well because there's stuff all around it. This is an interesting map. It interestingly doesn't have very many rock formations around, so there's not going to be perfect harmony here. And I'm not even going to bother trying. I suppose I could probably put something up here, but I'm not even going to bother putting effort into that, because I think building everything down here would be quite nice. Let's have a quick look what we've got. We've got 3 food types only. Cabbage, millet and wheat grow well together. Grow hemp here. We can grow silk, which is nice. We can... a few different things there. Lacquer, clay pits, no wood cutting. Despite there being a little bit of timber on the map, we can't cut it. And does that mean we can get... Okay, we can make lacquerware, but we'll have to import the wood and the lacquer. We can't actually grow lacquer either, so we're going to need nobles, but we're not going to be able to level them up very high, I don't think. So I'll probably just end up giving them silk. We're going to need them for our military. Gods do we have here? We have 1 military, 2 military, and a defensive military. So he can't be dispatched on invasion missions, but Sun Tzu and Huang Di are 2 potential military guys we can use. I know Sun Tzu will increase the speed. Here you go, travel time on armies on conquest missions. So you can use him to go out really quickly and come back. So we can charge out and be back in time to defend if somebody chooses to invade us. It's quite an interesting looking map, this one. I quite like the look of it. Where are we in the world? We're up north Kaifeng. Is that Beijing? No, Beijing's on the coast up here somewhere, I think. Kaifeng. So you will buy silk, quite a lot of silk, that's brilliant, and ceramics, even better. So we're gonna make a shit ton of money from these guys. They will sell us steel we need, and a couple of types of food, even better. So we can level up our guys quite high. Qizhou will buy weapons, probably not going to be worth it, because we'd have to import the steel. They will sell us wood, tea, and another food type, so we can level all our houses up quite easily using our current trading thing. So we're actually a self-contained unit here, which is brilliant. No nomads attacking, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different guys. We're going to have to conquer them and see how we go. Okay, things are looking good. I'm going to tinker around here a little bit, try to figure out what we're doing, and I will cut back once I know how to approach it. Alrighty then, I've been plugging away at this for a while, and we have ourselves a monstrosity of a city. We have ourselves 3 interconnected housing blocks here. It's a little bit confusing to look at, but it's basically 1 housing block backing up against another housing block, backing up against another one here, and they are sort of all melding together into one mega city. When I start getting profits, I've spent about 9,500 strings of cash, what I started with, but we'll eventually have a wall going right around this. Now we have 1 large Buddhist pagoda with just small shrines down here, and 1 large Taoist temple, so we can summon all the heroes once everyone starts to move in. Of course, we can't get the... Nope, it's Confucian. I believe he's Confucian. We can't get them yet, but that will wait until we set up our noble block over here. I'll probably end up deleting that as well. Once we set up our noble block over here, then we'll be able to get the Confucian heroes as well, but they are a bridge that I'll burn at a later date. I'm fairly happy with what we've got. I'm probably going to have to control how much we level them up, simply because this is going to seriously drain our cash. You'll notice there's no connections between the noble housing block and the riffraff down here. We don't want the riffraff mixing with the fine, upstanding men and women who will be staffing our armies and forts. So, with that, or at least who will be the officers for it. Got to keep them separate. But with that, I'm going to set up a couple of food sources up here. We'll have the workers pretty much to start working on that as soon as possible. Let's have a quick look at our... Get safety up as well. We're going to need quite a lot of safety workers, but it's not too bad. Overall, things are looking pretty good. Harmony is fair to moderate. Obviously, there's anything that requires this desert I haven't bothered with, and I probably could have moved it down a bit, but I didn't really care at that point. I'm happy with what we've got. I think it looks quite beautiful. Once it's all leveled up, it'll be very, very good. The only problem is sustaining a city of this size with employment and resources, but I'm going to get kicking on that now. And, yeah, I think I'll be back shortly. Alrighty, people are beginning to move in now. I haven't sent off any requests for trade with these people here because we are very much China military focused this time, so there's not going to be too much trade other than with my people. And when I eventually conquer these different people, I may send them something at a later date when I'm deciding who to conquer. But for now, resources are reasonably limited. I've got about 12,000. I'd like to save about 10,000. I've got 12,000 now to start making money. Now we've got a decent farm set up here. I'm probably going to need more hemp later, and probably even more food, but they can go down. I've got 2 more farms quite comfortably here, possibly even a 3rd one, a 4th one there, and I can throw more hemp farms down there. Our cash making is going to happen up here. I believe, actually that's probably a silly idea. I had thought that the entrance was up here, but it doesn't really matter as long as they're not detouring too much. The traders are going to come in, they can pass through here and then go over and exit the building that way. So for now, things are going to be looking pretty good. I'm going to wait for our people to move in. Well, that's unfortunate. Watchtower. Ah, shit. Alrighty then, let's fix that problem. Okay, problem fixed. For any of you who didn't quite notice that, what happened was the anyone who was sitting on these corner tiles, in between them was actually spawning the workers to the southeast here, and they were just walking up and down between these two little blocks there. I had originally kept that in mind when I was building the blocks, but then must have forgotten it when I started placing down the various amenities. So I was keeping these just for houses, these corner bits. Everything else is on the internal here, you can see, and that was deliberate so that they wouldn't spawn into these gaps here, and I just wasn't paying attention for one part, and unfortunately it was the most important part. So to avoid things spreading, I'm actually going to just knock those houses down. I'm not losing too much, and how the fuck? Oh, god damn it, this is really having a bit of a shit fight at the moment. Things are not going well. We lost our mill, and thankfully we didn't lose any food in there. The farming has not yet started. Probably going to lose all of these as well. And there we go, like a proper professional, everything is nicely set up now. So this inspector is taking care of all of that. He's not going off in the various detours. Again, it was set up perfectly, but then I threw down the farms as well, and things went a little bit downhill from there. But either way, people are moving in. We're still short a hell of a lot of workers, but the way I've set it all up, you can essentially see that agriculture is beginning now, and commerce will come on as well, which is our, apart from our market squares, there's also our mill and things like that. Government, religion, and all the other stuff is a very low priority. It's not something that we're going to bother staffing just yet. We've got our safety up, so these people are patrolling. And I'm going to keep an eye out for spies in this time, so I'm going to have a watchtower in everywhere I can, probably up near our military, because that'll be the most important. These, we're actually going to turn a couple of these off, just so we can get as much food as possible early on. Alrighty, first little bit of food coming in. We're getting a tiny smidgen of millet. Probably not going to be enough to actually feed anybody at all, so that's it'll be cabbage will be the first thing we eat. Wheat happens in the early part of next year, so that'll be the next one to come up. We've got 500 people, and yet we're actually doing reasonably well. We've fully satisfied agriculture, so I'm going to open up the next one here. Although at this point, there's probably not any point doing that. I just want to focus on getting all this harvested. Our people love us. As our trading people over here love us. And things are looking pretty good here. We're in a strong position despite a few early mishaps. Now these will be ready to level up. I'm going to take one block at a time. And that'll give us the workers we need to segue into a profit-producing industry very, very quickly. Okay, we're now into plain cottages, which is essentially doubling our population for this part of the block. What's wrong with you, Ancestral Shrine? They're going to make their way around shortly. So have had to bump up the religion to the next level. Would probably make a point for not putting these down immediately. Either way, things are looking good. I've got more space to put houses along back here if required. But for the time being, we are going to be good. We'll have enough wheat coming in, assuming our labour continues to increase. We are only a little bit short, which is good. And I have got hemp beginning. So we're going to be fully stocked to level these people up and get some massive unemployment, which we'll be putting to work shortly. A foreign emissary has come in. Ping Ya was giving us steel. That is interesting. With that, what we're actually going to do is start on our military. This is going to be for silk production trading, so I think we'll actually put our trading people just along here. So let's put, let's think about how we're going to do this. We want Ping Ya, we want these two trading things here, which means we're going to want, we can actually probably put the warehouses just up here, for at least for steel and weapons and stuff like that. I won't bother with, okay, 1, 2, I don't know why I need 3, but I'll put 3 there anyway for the hell of it, and we'll get this sorted. And the gift of steel is coming in. It's only 6 of them, but we can get the weapons cranking slowly, and we'll gradually start to produce them and store them in the center warehouse, so that when we actually start the industry full scale, we'll already have a small backlog of them. Okay, we've just passed, what are we, just past 1,100 people. Workers are nearly good there, and the first wheat harvest is coming in. Everyone now has access to food shops. Whether they actually get food or not is another issue, but the food shops are going to be stocked up, and with that we will be able to level up and drive our population through the roof. The hemp harvest is also coming in, so that will allow us to get the hemp stored for, actually being stored up here, for leveling these guys up as we need to expand. But for now, I'm thinking, oh shit, okay, let's move on to military immediately. The invasion is on its way. Okay, we're all nicely set up here. We're mass producing weapons. Oh, wait, there's a spy there. I found a spy. There we go. So there is a spy attempting to sabotage our weapons production. I don't know exactly what he's done. Maybe he stole some of the weapons or something. I don't know exactly what happened there. But what I'm going to do to try to counter that is throw a watchtower down here. Now, they're not guaranteed, but it will help us to try to stop our spies. I think it's the first spy I've ever actually caught on the map. I need to keep an eye out and make sure nothing going on here. Either way, we're moving on to cavalry forts now, so that's what we're going to get to allow us a quick response time. And we have begun importing some steel for these weaponsmiths up here. That'll allow us to get cranking as quickly as possible. I'm also going to try and get Huang Di on board. Well, I don't really have anything to trade with him. Probably going to be hemp at this point. And an unexpected fire in the city. Looks like our hemp production is burning down. Hopefully our people get out there quickly. I don't know what caused that. They can travel 33 tiles. So let's just double check how far these people are traveling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. They should be able to get as far as here. So that may have been a spy action that I didn't catch in time, but in an effort to prevent that from happening in future, I'm going to throw another inspector's tower down there and just block off here for the time being. So just double patrol along this area because we can't afford to lose any of this stuff just yet. Now Huang Di is happy and we're going to keep trying to pump him up in an effort to get a military force before these guys arrive. And we've managed to get a spy reversed from Yu Zhang, and let's immediately jump on that and send one back to them. So Yu Zhang has sent a spy to us. We're going to now sabotage them. We're going to sabotage their military because they're the people who are attacking us now. So we want to see if we can send that spy right back at them. There's probably spies everywhere through here. I'm just not noticing them. But I will try to keep an eye out for anyone who's a little bit unusual. And here we go. Yu Zhang has launched the invasion. I think we could probably bribe them off. Let's have a quick look what we've got here. Now I've requested defensive aid as well as tried to summon a hero, but nothing has arrived just yet. We have a very small force. We're going to try to fight them anyway and see if we can take them down. And there we go, invasion force defeated. We had 3 or 4 units of cavalry. Our hero Huang Di has saved us, and with that we've managed to completely wipe them out. That's brilliant. I'm going to keep him around. Oh no! Our mill must have been destroyed right at the end there. I didn't catch that. That was most unfortunate. Either way, we're going to send you back to the fort. There's 4 horsemen now. You're a little bit late, mate, but we'll send you back anyway. Thanks for coming, but yeah, a little bit too late there. We'll send you back home. Thank you very much for the help. You, my friend, you can probably go down here and do something. I'm not sure exactly what you do, but we need to get this mill up and running quick smart. Okay, the unemployment is now being brought under control. We've gone from 19 to 17 to 7%, getting all of these things set up. We've also spent most of our cash, so things are going to get a little bit tight here. I'm going to need, as much as I like this little roundabout area, I'm going to need to remove it because it sort of is in the way, unfortunately. how am I going to do this? I need to structure this area to be a little bit more properly organized so I can get all my proper people in here working. So excellent, we've gone into employees needed territory and we're all nicely set up. I'm going to throw down a hemp shop in the center here for the time being, as well as level these guys up to plain food. That'll level this area up and should provide us enough workers to offset that without going too far into debt. Forces have returned, that's fine. I thought I sent you back myself, but whatever. And our military is starting to look nice. Our next step, once the cash begins rolling in, this was quite an expensive operation to set up here, but ooh, I may as well just quickly block you there and there. Now that guy should be able to walk all the way down, and this area should be taken care of. Now I've got a watchtower walking up here as well to make sure nobody intercepts our military stuff up there. I haven't seen any more spies around, but I don't really know what they look like, so I do need to keep an eye out. We're probably worthwhile as well stopping manning the towers, which will give us, there we go, the employment we need back. Okay, unemployment is beginning to creep up and we haven't yet got any income yet. We're still in the process of building this chain. So what I'm thinking of doing is I want to use that unemployment to make ceramics, but I don't want to go too far into debt just yet. So the question is, what are we going to do? I think we can hold the unemployment. What we're going to do though is lower the tax down to 0. We're not making any tax income anyway, and so by keeping the people like this, it's going to just sort of keep them without being too pissed off. I'm going to throw down a couple of paper makers as well. Let's say 2 paper makers, and you are going to accept ceramics, and we're also going to accept paper. Just a small amount of paper for now. I don't think anyone will actually buy paper from me. No, they won't. So I need to keep a small amount on hand just to get these leveling up. We need an acrobat to go any further. Normally they need ceramics to go that high, I think. Oh, come on, Ping Yao, what's wrong now? God damn it. They need silk. So what I'll do is I will actually stockpile up a little bit of silk and give it to them. We've got a little bit, let's send them a small amount of silk so they don't become too pissed off with us. We're so close to running out of money here. It's been trickling down as I'm watching this guy go up. Get there, can he buy? Yes, he bought before we ran out of cash. Now, opinion of us is very, very low. Oh, we sold some steel as well. We probably need to stop on our steel imports for now. Although having a bunch of... I think we'll just keep importing it anyway. Having a bunch of weapons handy for when we begin to beef up our military will be important. So now though, things are struggling a little bit. I just need to sell off more of that silk, and unfortunately we gave a whole bunch of it away to them for free. So things are going to be very tight. We're probably going to go into the negative shortly, but I can't actually lower this stuff anymore. And Ping Yao has become our rival. I don't actually understand why that's happened. That screwed me. I can't win this anymore. So I gave them silk, they accepted the silk, and unfortunately that has cost us the mission, because without being able to sell them anything, fuck. I'm going to try to open trade with them, and we're going to conquer them first. We don't need to conquer all these guys here. We're going to take Ping Yao out. I'm very, very unimpressed with that. They're meant to be our main person, and unfortunately they're the ones who are going to cost us this mission when we've basically recovered. Okay, trade with Ping Yao has opened up. That's brilliant. In the meantime, we've been exporting cabbage and wheat because I'm producing so much of it. We're still buying and selling everything from Ping Yao, so hopefully they will continue to stockpile up on our silk here. I've got a lot more potential silk production in me, so for the time being, I think I'm producing max though. This will be pretty much all that they can buy. They're only going to buy 24, so this should be more than enough weavers, and we'll be able to use the rest of it to bring these guys back on. Okay, we have gone in debt throwing down the kilns and everything, but that is an acceptable employees needed. Yep, that's great, because now what I can do is, yeah, 5% is acceptable for now. So we bump these guys up, and that'll give us what we need. We've got more than enough workers here, so I'm not going to be able to level these guys. I'm not going to need to level these guys up all the way, which is foreign emissary wants a helping hand. Excellent. A bunch of cash is exactly what I need. That'll buy me time to sell this stuff off. Food is still good and sufficient. We can continue to export this and the silk production is flowing. With that, we will be able to actually start throwing down our nobles once these kilns finish firing up, and we'll have our military with which to go on and win the mission. Okay, the city's been ticking along nicely for a long time. Unemployment's a small problem. I need to be on low at the moment. There aren't a huge amount of unemployment sinks, and with only a few trade partners, I'm a little bit... Yep, thank you. A little bit limited by what I can do. What I'm planning on doing, though, is starting to send off just some small amounts of cash to each of these people. I don't even know why I'm doing that. I'll probably just send open trade requests cheaper. What this will allow me to do is find out who is going to buy what. So what I can do is I can conquer them and then use them as a trading partner. So that's who I'll focus on doing, and that'll allow me to absorb some of my unemployment. But I do love the look of this city. It's a huge, big monstrosity, but we have a lot of production capability. We're essentially maxed out on everything. I can give a small gift of, say, silk to this guy, and within a second, it's basically filled back up again to max. We have massive potential here. We are bringing in a couple of extra food types here to try and... they need wares to go any further. So I'm going to need to bring in timber. If I bring in some wood and lacquer, I actually can't get any lacquer at the moment. So what I'm going to get you to do is hold a little bit of lacquer. Let's say 8 lacquer. We're going to get you to hold 8 wood, and the rest can be lacquer ware. And what I'll do is when I find a source of lacquer, I can invade them and use the rest that way. Okay, we've got a Happy New Year, and we have ourselves a salamander in the palace menagerie. That's not anything major, but we are in the process of building up our military. We're now importing the wood, which will allow us to create crossbow forts as well as siege weapons forts. Now, siege weapons, I believe, are very good, very useful for attacking other cities. They give you a bonus when you try to conquer them. So I will keep that in mind when I send them off. They're probably not particularly good for defense, but I'll manage, I think. Okay, Sun Tzu has arrived back in the city, and what we're going to be doing is sending him off with a fairly sizable military contingent. He's going to be taking... Actually, we've got 4 of these, and I think that's the maximum. Are they producing any more? No, production is at 0%. So these remaining guys down here will continue to build up while we... That talking in the background is distracting me. You probably can't hear it. I will have volume reasonably low, but there is some... one of these things are talking to me, some hovering over them. As I was saying, we've got Sun Tzu in, and we're going to send him off to invade. I'm going to turn that volume down. These people just won't shut up and stop talking. We're going to invade... Who was it? Tanzhou will provide a lacquer. They also buy any excess lacquerware. So we've got timber coming from one of these people. I know I said I wanted to invade Pingyao, but we're going to do that at a later date. We're going to focus on getting these guys, and let's have a look at this. We're going to send Sun Tzu. We're going to send the... I think, though, yeah, 4 of them. I think that's the the catapult. Cavalry, 2 infantry, 3 infantry, because Sun Tzu will boost up our infantry, and an additional cavalry fort. Now this is going to leave us a little bit undermanned, so hopefully they won't attack us. I'm actually going to take off 1 infantry. Now we're going to want... actually lacquerware is probably the better thing to demand, but we'll take lacquer, because we can be able to use that to use up our unemployment. And the tribute severity is going to be harsh. We're going to attack their military, blah blah blah. That should be sufficient to take them down. If it's not, then we can rebuild and send them back. But Sun Tzu will, I think, tip the balance in our favour. They're only 1 shield. Now the rest of our people will build up, and in the meantime we're going to prepare a lacquerware industry. Things are a little bit tight in here. It would have been nice if I hadn't used up this space, because I could have done it with lacquer, but we'll manage, I think. And there we go, we have conquered Tanzhou. That's brilliant. Anguo, their leader, is ashamed and now owes us a significant tribute, which we should get. There we go. 4 casks of lacquer, so we can bring that in, and that'll allow us to set up here quite nicely. Now the lacquer will be distributed to our lacquerware makers. We're also going to throw down Tanzhou here. I've taken off a little bit of the silk stuff, and we're going to continue to import lacquer in. Probably don't need that much, but we'll get a bit of lacquer, and we'll bring in rice for added stability. I don't need that much though. 12 should be sufficient. I don't think we'll export anything to them either for the time being. I will throw down a lacquerware shop over here. And I may as well throw down a tea shop as well. I think that means I've got all the shops. Yep, all the shops are there. And tea is... I thought I was importing tea from someone. Exports tea. It doesn't import, so I can import tea. We're going to need to empty out this wheat and cabbage. So what I'll do is... what are you? You're a steel one. What I'll do is I'll tell you to get wheat and cabbage as well. So I can empty that out and get more space. Alrighty, with that we're ready to take our next invasion. I'm thinking Pingyao is probably going to be a good one, although... No, I shouldn't do it. It's not part of the storyline. Really, the story is about invading and taking over lower southern China. So the people in Shu out in the west here could be worthwhile. They will produce more lacquer. What do they buy? Nothing particularly useful. I need to find more export industries. They'll buy... Again, not much. Not much either. Carved jade they'll buy. I do have jade carvers. Is there anyone who sells me jade? Let's have a look at this. Producers. I can't seem to find anyone who... So they produce jade. So if I invade Chengdu and Guangzhou, then I'll be able to export some carved jade. They actually need silk as well. So I think I'm going to go for Guangzhou. I'm going to take them down. We're going to send off our veteran forces yet again. May as well send them all off. These guys are beginning to bulk up a little bit, and we'll send Sun Tzu as well. From you, we're going to be demanding probably steel, I think. They produce steel, so if I can find it, there, we'll demand a harsh tribute of steel, and we'll send that force off to take them down, just to make sure these guys here are bitter. So we're going to send them, we've got a fair bit of cash, we're going to send them a very large gift of cash to try to make them a little bit happier. And we've managed to conquer Guangzhou. That's brilliant news. So we will send Guangzhou a large gift of cash just to say how generous we are, even though we've beaten them. And we're going to throw down a trading key to Guangzhou. That's a little more pain in the ass. I suppose there's nothing stops me from putting it over here. What I can do is simply knock out one of these and build a bridge across. And victorious warriors have returned. That's excellent news. We can send them out almost immediately. I'm just going to make sure that Sun Tzu is happy again. Let's give him a big chunk of silk. Let's give you a medium. That'll make him exalted again. And I've got, of course, our heavenly compounds over here. We're selling tons of silk up to these guys up here. And everything is going nicely. We had a little bit of an import bottleneck over here. We weren't importing much steel, which is why our forces down here are very slowly filling out. They should have been completely done by now. But we are getting a lot more steel up here, and I have cleared this bottleneck by limiting how much of everything can be imported at any one time. So things are looking much, much better. And I think what we're going to be doing now is invading immediately and taking out Chengdu, who will provide us with the jade that we require, as well as the additional lacquer if we decide to expand our lacquer production industry to into an export industry. So we'll send off and we'll take down Chengdu as well. And spectacular, we've conquered Chengdu as well. We're on a roll here. Nothing is going to stop us at this point. Chengdu a little bit pissed off, but again, give them a nice big chunk of cash just to show how generous we are to our defeated enemies, people who've decided to join us and pay tribute. And we're going to import the jade from these people. We don't need to import lacquer because we're getting some as tribute. I've also demanded jade tribute from these guys, so we should have more than sufficient amounts of it. They'll produce a shit ton per year, and we can sell off that much as well. So it may be worthwhile throwing down some additional jade carvers. Again, not quite harmoniously placed, but who cares at this point. And the victorious warriors have returned, as well as Chengdu thanking us for the cash. They are now loyal. You're bitter again. So we're going to send off... I think they're bitter because the tribute is so harsh. So we'll send another 2,500 strings of cash. I should probably consider not having harsh tribute, but at this point I don't particularly care. We're importing all this stuff, and the jade will begin to flow shortly. They're also importing... yeah, I already said that. So we are looking pretty good with that, I think. It's worthwhile making sure you're happy. We don't have much silk at the moment, so let's go with Let's go with raw silk. We've got so much of that hanging around. That'll bring you back to Exalted. And with that, we can send out and conquer our final person. We've got 3. No, we've got 2. 3. We have got 3. Couldn't see that trade route. So we're going to need either Yu Zhuang or Jiang Ling. Now, they look like they have a very defensible position, surrounded by lakes and some rivers and stuff to the north there. What we can do is cross this river to the north here and possibly go down and attack these guys from the east, or cross over here and attack them there. They do have a stronger military force, but I think we'll be able to take them out. Again, I recognise this is not modelled in the game, but I do like to at least be a little bit more careful with my planning. So we'll send off our normal force and a little bit extra. We're going to send off the clever rabbits as well. And while we're at it, I think we'll throw in one more set of infantry. Now they will produce tea, I think is what we're going to get from them. We're going to grab tea every year. Where's the tea? Tea from them every year. We're only going to have normal tribute though, because we don't need a huge amount of tea. We are importing it and it is quite cheap. So we can send those guys off. And I'm going to throw down just a couple more forts down here. Let's extend it out and continue to plump up our defences. Most unfortunate, there is another fire in the city. That is not good, and that's because I built this little extension up there. We're going to lose all our silk, and probably all that silk as well. So let's throw you down there, and we'll roadblock that off there. That should hopefully take care of this stuff down here. It may even be worthwhile trying to level up this particular thing, although I doubt it will actually work.
Congratulations, Son of Heaven. You have reunited China and founded the Song Dynasty. May its glories surpass those of all our ancestors. Your deeds are so great that the people have begun calling you Taizu, the supreme progenitor.
Well, there we go, guys. That was a little bit unexpected. I was still building up and recovering from the small fire and collapse that we had, which, as you can see in the background, didn't actually do any significant damage at all. So we managed to put it out before it damaged all that silk. And Sun Tzu has taken the other city, which I've forgotten even which one it was. But he's taken that in the background. I didn't even get a pop-up about that. So we've won. We've managed to get more than sufficient, nearly double. More than double the required months of heroes. Had a bit of a momentary lapse there. And with that, China is reunited. So we've managed to essentially recreate or create the Song Dynasty, and we are now the Emperor, because we seem to be playing the character who has become and been crowned Emperor. With that, guys, smash that thumbs up button if you do indeed enjoy all this Emperor content. And I'll be heading into the next episode right away. I'm in a bit of a roll at the moment. So I'll see you guys next time.